Okay.
The second question that came up, and these are great questions, and this is not an attempt to answer the questions, but just to kind of romance them a little bit to see how we can, what more can unfold. Take a look at the writing by Rilke, in that Letters to a Young Poet, about living the questions, and then the two poems that I've added, one about clarity, the search for clarity, and the other one about prayer. So the second question is, what do we mean when we say that the story that we're living in is too small or too constricting for our soul's purpose? Well, there's an underlying assumption, and that is that we're created in the image of God. The Latin imago Dei means that there's something of the divine within every person, in fact, within all creation. And so the fact that we're created in God's image means that inherently there is a longing, and it really is, I believe, a reflection of God's longing, that is this energy that lives within us that has a sense of restlessness or longing to it. Some people think of this as eros, that kind of eros energy that's like a fire in our belly, that we know there's something more. There's something more to learn. So some people believe that when we're born into this world, into this incarnation, into this body, we're born kind of with a blank slate. The Latin, again, is tabula rasa. But if we're made in the image of God, and if you look at some of the writings in the Hebrew scripture, like Psalm 139, that we're knit together in our mother's womb, there's this idea that before we're born, we have a soul that comes into this world with a purpose, comes into this world with a sense of genius and uniqueness. And so the question is the plot line of our story, we talked about that in the previous video, is the plot line of our story leading us to a fuller expression of our eros, of our soul's longing? It's been said that destiny, or our destination, is following the golden thread of purpose that is woven into the web of fate. So is the plot line, that which we're following, that pattern of living that's integrated into our lives, is it purposeful? Does it shimmer like a golden thread that feels like when we follow it, it can lead to our destination? Another question, to put it in kind of Pauline or Paul's language in Scripture, is the story that we're living leading to more what Paul calls the fruit of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. Are these things finding fuller expression in our life? Or are we living in such a way that it feels like that flow of eros, divine energy, God's love in us, gets constricted? And so this is an exploration when we move into the second quadrant, opening mind, opening heart, and opening will. We'll look at the judgments and the cynicism and the fear that can constrict the flow of purpose in our lives, the fruit of the Spirit. And we'll look at, so is the story we're living too small to find a fuller expression of God's love? The next question we'll look at is a great question that came up, and that is, does it take a crisis for us to move from a habitual story that we live in, kind of downloading, into the adventure of transformation? We'll address that in the next video.